There's a woman at a Colorado school board meeting, a local radio host, and a mom in this district. She's a member of the concerned parent organization, Parents United America. She just spoke out at the Douglas County School District against this issue that's becoming increasingly prominent. And it's, from the way, ethereal realm of the ivory tower, but it's really now having a practical effect on kids' education and on our political life. She spoke out against critical race theory.
When we look at the Gemini Group teaching, which I took time to watch the entire thing, it is even more disturbing. And this group was hired by this board. Because in that training, it talks about oppressors and oppressed. That is damaging to every group of children. First of all, some groups of children are thought of as being shamed for who they are. The others are taught that they are victims without the ability to further themselves and to look at the others as the enemies. We all know the Dr. King quote that has been shared, color of our skin versus the content of our character. He had a dream. This is a nightmare. It is a nightmare for our children, and it needs to end now. The training also, by the way, divides basically educators and parents, because in the training, it refers to parents as dissenters. We are not dissenters. We are the parents. It goes on to say, and train educators to tell dissenters that this is simply the way we are going to educate your children. They are our children. We are the ones that have the moral authority over their education. We will not be marginalized.
Of course, but they are being marginalized. I mean, she makes an excellent point here, but that is what's happening. This is not just some kooky theory that was developed in the Frankfurt School 100 years ago, or rather a derivation of critical theory more broadly that was developed by the Frankfurt School, which, by the way, I discuss in my upcoming book, Speechless Controlling Words, Controlling Minds, which is available now for pre-order wherever you get your fine books. But this is having a practical effect, because you're not just reading a book and having an academic discussion. That's never what these theories were about. This is about practical training to get power, to establish a racial caste system in America, which is what's being done. And it's being done and drilled into the minds of 5-year-olds and people who are even younger than that. And it's being drilled into people's minds in the workplace. And it's being drilled into people's minds in the government institutions. It's even being drilled into people's minds in the military. And you've got to fight back against that, or you're going to look up and realize that your culture has completely been inverted. Things happen gradually and then suddenly, and we're in the suddenly part of that. These people are telling you what they believe. You can read the training materials. You can read the writings of these critical theorists. You can read the emails of Dr. Fauci, for goodness sakes. You can see where they're saying, yes, we're making political decisions here because we think this is the kind of society we should have. Not, I'm making a scientific observation, these are the facts. No, even think of the 1619 Project. We're not saying this is the new fact and here's the old. No, the 1619 Project is based on a lie, the central lie that the American Revolution was fought to preserve slavery. There's just no evidence of that whatsoever. It's bogus. But what the 1619 Project tries to do is reframe American history. What Dr. Fauci is doing in his public position is deciding between what he thinks is better and worse for society as a political matter. Not what is true and false as a scientific matter, but what he thinks is what people should do and should not do as a question of morality. That's what the critical theorists are doing. It's what all education's doing. And the Republicans and the conservatives have thrown up their hands and said, oh, well, you do you. It's all freedom. We can never use political power. Well, look what happens as a result of that. There is one hope for conservatives in this crazy culture. We're looking and how many times do we need to say we were right, we were right, we were right, and all the authorities and all the institutions were wrong and they were wrong and they were wrong? It doesn't matter. We can say we were right until we were blue in the face. They're the ones with the political power, right? They're still able to do it. They lied in many ways about the reasons for the lockdown. They lied about the efficacy of masks. They lied about the risk of asymptomatic spread. They lied about the risk to young people. They lie, and it doesn't matter. They keep getting away with it. Why? Because they have the political power and they're willing to use it, and we don't. There's one bit of hope for now to fight back, which is they don't quite have the common sense. They don't. And this is something that Antonio Gramsci, one of the founders of this school of radicalism, who I'm not even going to mention what book he has discussed at great length in, because I don't want to break my cameras again on this show, but I think we all know what we're talking about. Antonio Gramsci pointed out that radical revolutions fail because the kooky, crazy leftist theorists don't have a grasp on the common sense, that the common people, the proletariat, the workers of the world, it turns out they like their traditions and their way of life and their communities more than they like the radicals' insane theories. So the trick is you've got to take over the common sense. Oh, hey, you. Nice to see you. I wish I could see you more often. I wish I could see you more reliably. And the way that I can do that is if you ring that bell. Ring that bell, subscribe, like. That way you will be able to get the notifications. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, MySpace, Zanga, AOL Instant Messenger. Subscribe to the audio podcast, The Micheal Knowles Show. Leave a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. I'll see you next time, and I'll miss you until then.